Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Fatmata here from Traditionally Inspired Meaningful Art, and today we have a Friday Sews video. Friday Sews was a hashtag created by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room so that we could get together on a weekly basis and catch up on what we've been doing in our sewing spaces. So I wanted to kick things off by saying a huge thank you if you have watched the making of my Mother's Day dress. Thank you all so much for all of the positive and lovely comments on that. Seems like everyone sort of enjoyed coming along for the ride, seeing my thought process as I tried to execute that make. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link that video up above so that you can take a peek, but it was a dress that definitely brought me a lot of joy. I actually just wore it earlier today for my son's moving on up ceremony at school, but I've returned home and I'm in something a bit more comfortable. So this is my S9702 that I recently made. I spoke about this previously. It's got its quirks, but since I'm just home right now, it's a nice one to just float around the house in. My only sort of issue with it was the length, but again, since I'm home, it's not a problem. So I have this layered under cotton shirt that I made as well. So just a long sleeve sort of layering piece because this V-neck is so deep. So last weekend I was away on a girls trip, which is why you got the making of my Mother's Day dress sort of recap video. So I was out and I didn't do much sewing leading up to that. However, I think on like Wednesday night or Thursday, when I got back from work, realizing that I was leaving for my girls trip on Friday, I was like, what if we wanted to go to like a spa, or I had to go to a pool somewhere that wasn't private? So I wanted to make myself like a little burkini, I guess is what you call them, like a fully covered swimming suit. And I went with two different patterns. I went with the leggings in this McCall's M7122. I bought this pattern specifically for the leggings because I wanted a one-piece legging, and that's what this one is. It's just a single piece where the waistband is one that you fold over to either encase the elastic or serge the elastic around the edge and then flip it over and top stitch it down. And I used this vintage Simplicity pattern. This vintage McCall's pattern 3187 because I love the fit of this high neck top. So I went with this view right here, which I believe is view C, and it's fantastic. I use this incredible like swimsuiting fabric. It's a lycra sort of material, very, very silky and slinky. And I got this at G Street Fabric in their dead stock section about 2 years ago. I almost put this up to destash on my Destashify account, and then I had the wisdom to remove it because I thought I will go to a pool and I probably would want to make myself a swimsuit. So I sprung on the opportunity. It's just such a gorgeous fabric. Now, because I was doing this the night before, I didn't want to fiddle with a zipper. So therefore I left it as a shirt, whereas when I make another swimsuit for myself, I am going to do something that has like a quarter zip in the front so that it can be a full swimsuit with the bottom attached so that it actually stays put under the leggings, if that makes sense. What I'm really proud of is on the inside, I did a shelf bra. I'm so proud of this. So I basically cut the shirt out again at a cropped length, and I made it maybe about a quarter of an inch to about half of an inch smaller so that it was a lot more fitted than the outer garment was. And I encased the elastic here, folded that under, so it just gives such a nice effect. I feel really supported with the inner sort of shelf bra. And on the outside, no one is the wiser. I ended up not using a neckband. I just went ahead and attached them at the neckline and serged that shut. So it's a really smooth, clean finish. I really like that. And then I understitched. I just think it turned out beautifully. Like, I feel really great in this print. It makes me super happy too. For the leggings, here they are. I mean, a very simple legging pattern. I had the smaller size because that's what was available in the drawers at my local Joann. So I went ahead and just picked it up, figuring that I could grade up if I needed to. I ended up making the size medium, but I did add width. So basically, I effectively made it a size large. For the waistline, I did have to take it in quite a significant amount. And effectively, I probably took it back down to maybe a size small or so at the waist, and then about a size large for the rest of it. But I think in the future, I could probably get away with cutting out a size medium and just doing a tighter elastic around the waist. But it looks really great together. Now, because the shirt is a slimmer fitting shirt, even though it's long, I did want to have just a little something to put on over that when I was not in the water. And that's where I made this little peplum. So it's like a high-low peplum. So I would sit this at the waist. I didn't put any elastic here just because I didn't want additional bulk or like anything that would cinch too much. So I just used the fabric itself as the, elastic bit of it. But yeah, I cut out something that was a bit curved from the remaining fabric that I had, and I made this little high-low thing. We didn't end up going to like a public pool or anything like that, but I did wear it poolside at the house that we had rented, so that was really nice. Prior to leaving, I had started working on some gifts that I wanted to gift to my friend this upcoming Father's Day, and I had actually started cutting out these gifts back in April for the Selfless Sew April challenge. So you might recall that I was going to be making these little stuffed animals for my friend and her sisters, and I'm really, really happy that I, for the most part, have most of them done. So this is Simplicity 9391, and these all have like little furry friends. So it has a piglet, a little bunny, a cat, and a puppy. I really wanted it to be a teddy bear. I don't know that I was successful. Like, I think this does look like a couple of different types of little creatures. Not necessarily a bear, but we'll go with it, okay? So I curved the ear a little bit using the cat ears, and then I just curved it out. Now, this to me looks like a mouse, to be completely honest, because of how it's sort of like gathered in there. I did that. It calls for you to do quite a bit of hand stitching. So when I made the first one and did all of the hand stitching to attach the ear, I was like, yuck, I have 4 more to do. I don't want to do that. So I found a way that I could actually sew the ear into this little side seam that they have here. It ended up being probably the most fiddliest way I could make this. And while I do not enjoy hand stitching, especially not because I knew I had 4 of them to do, which meant 8 different ears, you would have to slip stitch the ear closed first and then attach it by hand to each of the stuffies. I wasn't interested in doing that. So I did go the fiddly route and find a way to attach it into that little seam that shapes the head. And while it was super fiddly, it worked. I messed around with the order of operations to just find a way that kind of worked for me. And there you have it. So I have a whole litter, squad, gang of puppies. And yeah, I can't wait to finish them. I finally found where I had all of the remnants, like the scraps of the other fabrics from my best friend's dad when I had made quilts for her and her sister previously. And I think I'm going to do like a collar around these, and if I can, like stitch or embroider something on it. I say embroider, but I just mean like using the function on my regular sewing machine. I think it does have the feature where I can add letters and like write out stuff. So I'm going to see if that works. It's not a feature that I use often. I think I tried to test it out earlier. I didn't like how it worked, but I'll see if I put a stiffer interfacing in the fabric, if that would do something. But any hoosers, I figured this might be a really sweet gift to give them around the time of Father's Day as they're remembering their dad. So I'm really happy to get this to her and her sisters. But yeah, like they're all stuffed, and I use this poly fiber fill that I had thrifted from the thrift store. I think I got this whole bag for about $4. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. So I used a decent amount. I wanted them to be really plush. And this is one of their dad's old silk shirts. It has this like gorgeous, hopefully you'll be able to see it. It has like a gorgeous leaf motif in it. And it feels really soft to the touch since it's silk. It's really beautiful. But that's really the main thing I've been sewing up. I am not a huge fan of sewing really small things. I know that in theory it's supposed to go by a lot faster, but I find it to be so terribly fiddly that I'm actually spending more time just trying to get through it and rounding all the corners. And this had a lot of corners, a lot of curves as you're trying to like do the bottom portion. But there you have it. That's what I've been busy working on all this week. So speaking of Father's Day, I wanted to make something for my older brother and my dad. So I had taken my older brother's measurements, and I'm going to be making him the same shirt that I made for my husband. So I went ahead and cut out S8753. I had made my husband the classic fit, which is the top one. I'm making my brother the modern fit, I believe is what they call it. So this one, view B. And really I'm doing that because in this pattern, the classic and the modern are two separate patterns. And I had cut directly into the tissue paper for my husband's shirt. And his shirt size is smaller than my brother's needs to be. And I wasn't going to buy a whole new pattern. So I figured I'll do the modern fit for my brother because I think he would also prefer and he would like that fit. And I just did the largest size that they have here because that corresponds more to his measurements. So a size 42. I did add about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch to the side seams all around. I felt like because the modern fit is a bit slimmer and my brother was just at that measurement, I wanted to give him a little bit more breathing room in case he didn't like how fitted it turned out. I am going to be using this gorgeous Ankara fabric that I had in my stash. I had shown him 2 different fabrics. I had shown him this blue and red. It has like a key and lock motif on it. I had shown him this Ankara fabric and this one. And I was just like, what's your favorite? And he picked this. So I love it. It's like this gorgeous burgundy with this amazing aqua, almost teal sort of leaf design on it. And I like it. It seems like it's almost striped. So I played around with that just a smidge. It's a really nice repeat pattern. So he is going to get Simplicity S8753 in the modern fit out of this. I really wanted to make him shorts out of the same fabric as well, out of this Simplicity 9758. This is a new pattern designed by Norris, and I just love it. The only reason why I didn't just make this whole set is because it's a lot more of a boxy fit, and I couldn't tell. Like, I think my brother, would he wear it? Of course. But I wasn't completely sure. There's a lot of wearing ease, so I just preferred the modern fit. But I love that this comes with shorts. Like, this whole set I would definitely make for my brother because he wears shorts. He, like, this could be his vibe. I didn't know if he would love the camp style collar though. So I like went to his Instagram and I was like, what you be wearing out? You know, I don't see him all the time. I was like, what do you wear out in the streets, you know? And I saw him with a lot of, I know he wears a lot of button ups. He's a school teacher. He wears a lot of button ups, but I didn't know if he wore a lot of like camp style collars, you know? So anyways, I kept it classic, kept it cute with the modern fit, this Simplicity pattern, and I had already had some experience with it. So I knew that I could figure this out, but I forgot to take his waist measurements when I took his like shoulder and his chest measurement. So I need to see if I'll see him before Father's Day and take his waist measurements, or ask him. I'll see if he knows his. Like, look at one of your dress pants and tell me what it is. And then I'll see if I can make him some shorts, because I think this is such a nice print, and I have more of it, that this would be lovely to have a whole matching set for him out of it. Now, of course, because it's a Father's Day gift, I gotta make something for his daughter, which I'm really excited about. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to use as far as a pattern. I might just use the pattern that I made my daughter's most recent dress out of and call it a day, or I might make a couple of things for his daughter as well, so that they can be matchy-matchy, because we love that. We love that. And I am going to use this same pattern. I have the larger size range of this, and I'm going to make my dad a classic shirt as well. So I do think I might go with this Ankara fabric, just because I have it and I don't really feel like I'm going to use this. So I think I'm going to make something for my dad in this. I think he would like it. It's like nice, it's breezy, it's cotton, it's cool. So I plan to make my dad a shirt as well. I was recently wearing my Simplicity 8735, which is this wrap dress here. I made this last year as one of my Make 9 patterns, and I was wearing this and my cousin saw me in it and she really liked it and she wanted to know if I could make one for her. I did say that I would make her some things. I thought they were primarily going to be knits, but you know, she liked it. I did go ahead and show her and kind of tell her all of the things that I had as issues with that make. But she persisted. She really wants one. So I picked out a bunch of fabrics from my stash that kind of fit in her vibe that I thought she might like, and also that I had enough yardage of and would fit this sort of dress. She ended up going for this black fabric that I picked up at G Street Fabrics in the dead stock section recently. And I'm just sort of draping it in the light so that it can pick up the actual design on this fabric. So it has like a floral jacquard weave to it. And I see that a little bit like in this section. So there's a bit of a gorgeous floral jacquard weave to it. The weight I think is substantial enough for a dress, and I told her she was just gonna have to starch and iron it, and that I would make it for her. So that is something that I'm going to make this month, some point. I don't know. I'm going to focus on the Father's Day things first, though. And then as time rolls around, then we'll get to that. So my daughter's birthday is also next Thursday. She's very excited about this. She's going to be turning 4. And I want to make her some things. We're going to do something for her. So I picked up this Simplicity 9393 pattern, which is a new pattern. I haven't heard about it, but when I saw it, I definitely was intrigued by it. It has pants, a top, a tunic, and a dress. And what I liked about it was that for the dress, I think it's legitimately 3 pattern pieces, which I love that. It is, yeah. So it is legitimately, it is a front, a back, a sleeve, and then an elastic guide. I mean, it's fantastic. I love a quick and simple make, and I think that it's going to be delightful. It also, I believe, has elastic around the collar, and that's what sort of makes it come in. I also want to make her this like wings, this whole fairy motif. This is S9765. I believe I shared this with you during the Selfless Sew April month as well. I picked this up, but I love the crown, the wings, all of that. I think it's a really gorgeous little set. It does call for like foam, flexible foam for the wings, which I don't have, and I'm trying to figure out if that's going to stall me or like if I want to get that. As far as fabrics go, I picked up this yard of this gorgeous embroidered fabric from Joann's years ago, and I have been like confused as to what to make with it for a long time, but I might be able to use it as a dress for my daughter because she won't take up a lot. And as I'm looking at that simplicity, you know, pattern, if I line it with something, because it is sheer, if I line it with something, then this could be really, really nice as a dress for her. I also have this Ankara fabric in my stash. My mom had gifted this to me when she went back home to Guinea a couple of years ago. I had washed it already. Like, I was ready to use this a couple of years ago and just never really got around to it. It has all of these circles, and I think this would be a nice fabric to do like a mommy and me sort of set. But again, I'm focusing on hers. It's her birthday, and then if I get to mine at some other point, then I will. Just have to make sure that these circles don't end up in like unfortunate locations. But I think this fabric is really, really darling. It's definitely ready for like the Barbie core this summer and all of that. But it's such a fun, vibrant, happy fabric. Those are the things that I have been up to sewing wise. Like I said, I made myself a swimsuit. That was really fun. I worked on these nice little plush stuffies. My main question with these little critters is I'm trying to figure out what to do about eyes. I had salvaged all of the eyes from the various shirts, so I didn't know if I wanted to like just pop the buttons on as the eyes, but I don't love that, and I don't know if it's because these are the white buttons. I think I do have navy buttons from one of their dad's other shirts, so I am going to test that out. Or do I just like leave it faceless? I don't know how I want to finish these off, and that's really what's holding me back. The pattern did call for you to cut out little felt like eyes and nose and sew them on very early on in the process, and I chose not to do that. But now I'm like paying for it because I'm sitting down like, how am I gonna finish them? So right now they look like naked mole rats, like from Kim Possible. Especially because they're in this pink color, or like pigs. And I can't get over that, and I don't want it to look like that. So I need your advice. What would you do as far as eyes? Again, I do have some darker buttons, and that's what I hope it works. But I will put these off to the side and see if I can get a couple of comments on any suggestions as far as what you would do to finish these off. Leave it naked. Do I try some darker buttons for the eyes? What do I do about a nose? Do you feel like it needs anything? You know, I don't know what to do about this. What I have coming up as far as makes, I am first and foremost going to be working on my brother's Father's Day make, and then I'll get started on my dad's, and then I'll do something for my niece so I can have a matching set for my brother and his daughter. And then I'll focus on my daughter's birthday makes. So between now and next week, I hope that's what you can expect to see from me, because those are the things I'm prioritizing. If I get to anything else, woohoo! That's going to be great. I have been purchasing quite a few things, but I feel like this video is already getting long. So we'll wrap up here, and I will record another video of all of the things that I've been purchasing, because it's been a lot, like surprisingly, you know? And I can't wait to share those with you, and we will talk soon. So, have a wonderful day.
Mommy,
yeah.
We need some brushes.
Brushes? What are you going to do with brushes?
We're going to paint with the brushes.
But you're drawing with the markers. You should draw with the markers. Go to the potty room.
Okay.
So I hope you have a creative weekend and week ahead of you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.